Right, so 2 quick things before we get into the subject on today's video. Firstly, new video on the Moisky Live channel about a Labour MP defecting. Exciting stuff. Second, on Friday I premiered another H.P. Lovecraft tale called Dagon. Link to both in the description down below. Now today I want to talk about an article from the New York Post. I should preface this by saying there is more to this, but sadly it's behind a $42 paywall. So I could only read the abstract as opposed to the full version. Although there is 48-hour access, but honestly, I can't pay for that. I'm sorry. YouTube ad revenue is at an all-time high right now. And I get nothing. Apparently my laugh annoys people. Some people. A few isolated people. You're welcome. Cringe. Anyway, so the article in question covers something quite interesting, I think. And we should certainly discuss why this even exists in the first place. So the article's title is Broke Men Are Hurting American Women's Marriage Prospects. Now I'm sure there are a whole plethora of reasons why this is the case. Whether that be because the employment market isn't what it once was, or because people have more freedom to choose the careers they want, or because some just don't want to marry, therefore leaving a number of American women unable to find partners. There's also the other one, where a significant number of people desire a certain type of man that meets certain criteria, almost idealized, or that has become somewhat endangered due to a whole number of societal changes, or simply because they're no longer a type of man you would typically get anymore, or in abundance to meet the quotas required to marry off these rather lovely ladies with these desires. Well, the last one seems almost accurate, actually. The article will explicitly state it, where it says that there's a devastating shortage of men who have their act together. That's nice. That seems subjective, but okay, that's nice. Is my sarcasm sign required there? According to a new study behind a paywall that may not be so surprising to all single ladies out there, research now suggests that the reason for recent years' decline in the marriage rate could have something to do with the lack of economically attractive male spouses who can bring home the bacon. But surely these ladies are looking after themselves. I mean, they have the equality and opportunity to do that, right? I know I threw shade for no real reason, but I wanted to do it anyway. I would also point out, because it is the right thing to do, that the economic market as it is, and the employment market especially, isn't as safe as people think. Many jobs in the last decade were hurt by, for example, the economic crash. That did horrific damage. Employment law, depending on which sector you're in and which country you work, of course, can also be quite weak as well, so job security isn't as safe as people think. The marriage rate could also be low because there are less men interested in getting married, which there is a growing number of, for a whole multitude of reasons, not least because many don't believe it is beneficial to bind yourself to another person because, and by all means insert whatever reason you feel is necessary here, whether it be because faith played a part and you are no longer interested, simply you are not interested in being bound to another person, you don't see a point because you want to have kids, you don't need to be married for that. If you're not religious, you'll understand that argument. Of course, you can still be religious and have kids. I think people, though, get the point. The accusation in the study is that it's because, for the most part, because a number of the men now listed don't have that stable job or good income, which is considered a desirable trait. The lead author of this, Daniel Lichter, indicated in a press release linked below that unless your dream man is an Uber driver, the dearth of would-be grooms is prominent in the current gig economy of unstable, low-paying service jobs. Which is not the fault of guys. Many could also now cite academic changes, in the sense where guys would push themselves into certain fields where they would then get more desirable, high-paying jobs. But some are now just losing the opportunity because of equality, as it were, in the definition of outcome as opposed to opportunity. But that's not going to be a majority case. Simply guys are moving into different areas now because they are. It sounds like a tautology, but really it is that. Shift in the market, guys and girls adapt. Whether it be by pushing themselves into environments where they are challenged, high risk, maybe reward, who knows, or they simply move into other areas because they're less interested in challenges. Remember, society evolves quite fast, so if guys start to be less interested in challenging jobs, there could be many reasons that impact it. Laziness, I'm sure, is one of them, but that's not going to be a majority case, I promise you that. The researchers from this particular paper investigated this man drought by creating profiles of potential husbands, which was based on real husbands logged in American Community Service data. They then compared these hypothetical spouses with actual unmarried men. They found that women's made-up husbands made up 50% more money than the current lineup of eligible bachelors. The study revealing large deficits in the supply of potential male spouses. This seems to be predicated on a minor assumption, one where the woman doesn't work as well. There is nothing wrong with both people working to offset the loss of income from the husband. Let's not forget here how quality the fathers were when they were the ones working all day and coming home and barely ever being there for their kids. In fact, I think it'd be more beneficial if both parents worked X number of hours but still able to be there for their children if they have children. Marriage is of course only one step some people take, children is the other. If, of course, they don't end up having kids before they're married. I should of course state that because someone's going to point it out. Many young men today, according to Daniel Lichter, have little to bring to the marriage bargain, especially as young women's education levels, on average, now exceed their male suitors. Yes, but typically girls are the ones thinking of marriage first. They are the ones thinking about their future more than the guy. Why is that? Because guys don't care enough until they meet the right person or accidentally knock someone up. There is a rise of single parents, so I have to keep on saying these kind of things. I don't want to, by the way, but I know pedantic shits are in my chat. Yeah. Some ladies, again according to this article, are even starting to date down in order to score a forever partner. Now, a date down is the... I don't like this, by the way. The idea of, in a relationship, there's a reacher and a settler. This would be where the woman is the settler for something that they believe is inferior to them. I think that is callous, and also if that is what is happening, if prevalent, I'm sure it is happening by the way, but on the scale indicated in the article below, I would politely say that you are doing more to hurt that person, because while they would do everything for you, you have settled for them, implying that if the opportunity arose, you would go somewhere else. It just implies bad taste and desperation. I know we are all on biological clocks of some kind. I say all of us, just you human. I know that ladies are especially, but that doesn't mean you have to settle. It just means you have to be the one thing apparently lacking in your entire species. Patient. It's not difficult either. All you have to do is work hard and be patient. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be proactive, by the way. You should be. You should go out there more and put yourself out there if you can. If you're stuck, of course, there are circumstances where you might not be able to. And in those circumstances I could understand settling, but then one has to question the whole purpose of your marriage. I was led to believe personally it was because of trust, love, respect, because of what you had compatibility-wise. I didn't realise it was because it reeked of desperation. That is, while a callous thing to say, and I do apologise to those who might take offence, what it appears to come across as when someone, quotes, dates down, which is all arrogant beyond belief. At the end of the article, Daniel Lichter, the writer of this, lead author, says that there's a whole love factor in marriage, but in the end, it is also a fundamentally economic transaction. Fan-freaking-tastic. Which is quite an interesting comment to make when you think about it, because I've never considered marriage from an economic stance. To me, I took the view of, if you love each other, cool. You go through ups and downs. That's what happens. It is cliché. So to consider it a loving bond, but also something where cha-ching comes to mind, is interesting. I don't tend to agree with you, Daniel Lichter, but I'm sure many in my comment section do. And with that, I'd very much like to know what you think about this. Whether you believe there is some validity to it, and why you believe so. So please do let me know. I would be very much interested to hear your thoughts.